So, it's your boy Team Sam from Team Samurai X1. No, I'm actually joking. It's YugiPenguin. Hello everyone. Today I have a special video for you all. My guest feature today is called TRK. I will leave a link in the description below. Please go and check his channel out and show him some support. As you all know, I hate this deck because I bitch about it in all my other videos, but this is his deck profile for Trickstars, and it is pure scum. I hate it, but it is also an amazing deck, and this is why it always beats me. Without further ado, let's get into his video. Please leave a like rating, hit the subscribe button, comment for more Yu-Gi-Oh content. Okay, so what are we starting off with today?
So today we have, of course, our 3 copies of Trickstar Candina. It's the Stratos of the deck. It searches for pretty much everything you want. You really want to see this in your opening hand, as it will just open access to all of your plays. Next off, we have, of course, our 3 copies of Licorice, which is our main damage to our opponent. Every time they add a card to their hand, whether it's from the graveyard, even by drawing, for example, they will take 200 damage.
So for everyone to understand, she's the main slut of the deck.
Yeah, pretty much. She just does whatever she can. Goes whichever way she wants. Next off, we have 1 copy of Trickstar Lilybell. This is our final Trickstar card. It's very useful for a OTK combo, which I might upload at some point on my own channel, or if YugiPenguin wants to upload it, we can do it for him as well.
Yeah, of course.
And then moving on to our hand traps, we have 3 copies of Ash Blossom. We kind of have to run this card. I've only recently got the 3rd copy. I was running 3 Effect Vader, so now that they're in here, I thought it'd be a good time to showcase.
I just cry every time I see Ash Blossom, just because I don't own any.
Poor YugiPenguin. Next we have 3 copies of Droll and Lockbird. Of course, these are used for the reincarnation combo. Many a time I've done this against YugiPenguin, and it normally leaves him in tears, which is great fun.
I cry.
Then we have, for our final monsters, 3 copies of Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, just purely to remove cards off of the field. We don't want to let our opponent get a decent board, especially if you're playing Trickstars.
But knowing the only downfall of Ghost Ogre is that the effects still go through and resolve, unfortunately.
Of course, but I do like the option of clearing the board a little. It just opens up and I might be able to do that little bit of extra damage through battle phase.
But look how much negation he is playing in this deck.
It's just going to get worse. I also run 1 copy of Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion. I will run 3 copies at some point, but for now I only have the 1. But keep watching this space.
Because you only managed to get the 1 Ghost Bell from me.
Yeah, unfortunately. If you had more, I probably would have beat you with a stick for them, but you know.
Ouch. Carry on.
So that is it for our monster lineup. Next we can go into our spells. So we of course run our 3 copies of Trickstar Light Stage. Allows us access to any
I actually have a question. Real question. So why run Light Stage and not the new card Light Arena?
I've not actually looked too much at Light Arena. I've gone for this purely because it can search for every Trickstar monster.
Okay.
As soon as it gets out, if I don't have the Candina, I can add it to my hand. If I'm lucky enough to have a Candina already, this gets me into multiple copies of Licorice. If I already have 1, that adds the 2, and so on.
I'll probably leave Light Arena on the screen for you guys so you know what that card does also, but as you heard from TRK, Light Stage is the way to go.
Yeah, definitely for searching. We of course run 3 copies of Terraforming. It essentially gives us 6 copies of the Light Stage in the deck, instant access to it, as the Candina does as well. 3 copies of Scapegoat. I absolutely love this card, especially for the OTK loot combo, which I'll go into later on or on another video.
Who would have thought a 2002 card could be so useful?
I know, it's just so overpowered. We run 3 copies of Called by the Grave, just to hit things such as Ash Blossom, or as we recently discovered, Honest.
Yeah, I played TRK in a duel, and he basically tried to use Honest during battle phase, so when Honest went to the graveyard he used Called by the Grave on me, so obviously that wasn't going to work. But we had a massive argument over it almost, and it almost cost me my friendship with him. You know what, it's all good now. I realised I was wrong. YugiPenguin's always wrong though, so carry on.
Yay, friends. We also have 2 copies of Cosmic Cyclone. I don't like running 3 just because it is a life point cost, but it can be useful to get certain cards.
It's just an overall great stable card though.
Absolutely, couldn't agree more. Because I'm running this weird FTK variant that I've built, I run Dark Room of Nightmares.
I don't think many people know what Dark Room of Nightmare does.
So this card is very good for effect damage. Any effect damage that is individual. So, for example, if you have a Licorice on field and a light stage, and they add a card to their hand, they take 200 from the first effect of Licorice, and then 200 extra on top as a separate effect from the light stage. That's 2 effects. Now, Dark Room of Nightmares counts that as 2 effects, and deals an extra 300 per effect. So it's an extra 600 damage on top. So it's just a constant way to add burn damage.
It's just pure scum, basically.
Yeah, I only run 2. I was running 3, but it kind of got bricky. You don't need that many out at the same time, even though they do stack as well. So if I had 2 copies out, that is double the damage.
You can see by the cards, like one's got different writing, but the card actually updated, it seems, but it's still not once per turn, so you can just keep this card going each time, so you can potentially OTK.
Yeah, I have OTK'd with this before. It's very helpful.
We'll probably even add a combo in the video at some point, or probably in the next video, of how good this deck can actually be, because there's actually a combo in the deck that can actually loop the whole duel, and you can just, even if you, like, you're playing with your friends, you've got your fun decks, and you can actually, let's say you're doing a 4-way match, and you can actually beat every single one of them, or OTK them with just one combo in this deck.
Exactly, as we found out the other day doing a couple of duels, which was great fun.
And last but not least,
yep, finally we have our 1 copy of Regeki for the spells. Just
cool.
as a ball wax, this deck does struggle with attack points in getting over certain monsters. I know in the Blue Eyes matchup, for example, or Dark Magician, there's nothing that can really get past that monster. The highest is the Candina at 18, not counting the extra deck, of course, but
I mean, without the extra deck, the deck is not really a deck that really needs to throw an attack, just because of all the effect damage that it throws. But these days, there's only a couple of cards out there that actually just inflict the effect damage back at Trickstars, which is really good. So they're really, you know, potentially one of the strongest decks ever, in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly. And I very rarely go into the extra deck anyway. I find that I can win most games if I need to with just the main deck alone.
Pretty cool. And then into your traps.
If I can get these out the way. So we don't run many traps. We of course run our 3 copies of Trickstar Reincarnation.
The main pitch of the deck, basically.
Yeah, if you see this getting set, or you've seen them add it to the hand, know you're going to be taking either some big damage or just throwing away a load of cards.
And you guys will be happy to know that this card is getting reprinted in the new Battles of Legend Relentless Revenge set, which is coming out on the 29th of June. So if you find the cards and you get more than 1 at least, you'll be very lucky, and this card will probably go back up in price, I reckon.
Yeah, definitely. I would expect it to go up at least a little. Next we have 2 copies of Solemn Strike.
Mr. Moses in the picture.
Highly accurate description there.
Or God, maybe.
Either way.
Wait, if God was a man, that's what he'd look like, basically.
If God was...
We don't judge.
Let's not go there.
Yeah. Well,
let's get into a whole different
This is
topic.
religion. Oh God. like Yu-Gi-Oh wasn't about religion though, especially with all the Egyptian shit.
Oh, exactly. In the religious icons in some of the Trickstar cards anyway. Yeah, so moving on, we have our last card for the main deck, and it is Solemn Warning. Just another negation to try and stop monsters coming up onto the field. It's very useful, and that's it for the trap cards.
Cool.
So next I'll quickly just show you the extra deck. I've taken up the tokens, luckily for Scapegoat. So we run the 1 copy of Link Spider.
Yep.
1 copy of Mrs. Radiant, which can just add some links, especially coming off of the Scapegoat as well. If you lose a couple from taking a hit at the end phase or during the battle phase, it's a good way just to get another monster
It's just
up
instant
on the field.
extra deck, isn't it, really?
Yeah, exactly.
Yep, carry on.
We can then go into our Proxy Dragon and our 1 copy of Trickstar Holly Angel. Very useful, especially when you can use the effects to boost its attack points, and I've actually managed to get this up to about 4,000 attack points at sometimes as well.
So that could be your beat stick of the deck, basically, if you really need it to be.
Yeah, if needed, it can of course go up.
Very cool.
Our 1 copy of Decode Talker.
That's a must.
Definitely. Our 1 Top Logic Trisbania.
Very cool.
1 copy of Top Logic Bomber Dragon. Again, this is another beat stick if you can actually make it.
And again, wait till the new set comes out, because I'll leave Topper Logic Gunblar Dragon on screen for you, how good that card is going to be, especially because it does effect damage also. I don't know if you're aware of this also.
No.
Gunblar Dragon's effect will actually inflict 3,000 damage to your opponent, depending on the effect that it's using.
Oh wow, I might have to have a look at that
So
one.
with Trickstars, that goes a long way.
I'm definitely going to have to look at putting that in this deck now. So our last link monster is of course the Firewall Dragon. I love this card for Trickstars. The loop that you can do is just incredible.
So obviously Borreload Dragon is an option, but if you don't have Borreload Dragon, then what can you do, unfortunately?
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have that.
That is also getting a reprint, so we can't really complain.
Yeah, I'll definitely be purchasing a copy. For our XYZ monsters, I only run 2. Of course, we have the Terribly Tied Tapir, number 41, and 1 Cyber Dragon Infinity, just purely for side decking with a Ghost Reaper.
Okay.
Next we have Ancient Gear Howitzer and Ancient Gear Chaos.
I think a lot of people are going to question why and how you play them. Do you ever bring them out?
No, these don't come out. These are purely for if I side deck out for the Ghost Reapers, and the people I play against, they kind of run these decks, so they are purely targets to try and stop them from getting things and
again, it's
hitting me.
more effect damage if you're bringing out Howitzer. Chaos Ancient Gear Giant is a little bitch also. I can't stand that card because it's just the amount of damage it does during the battle phase when it attacks every monster.
Of course, and if they're in defense position, you're definitely screwed.
It's a very cool card.
And I was running an Eater of Millions at one point in this deck as well, so these were just throwaways for spawning now.
So you would essentially just get rid of 5 cards, bring out Eater of Millions, and then that does banishes cards basically.
And next we have 3 other targets for that. We have Altergeist Hextia for the Altergeist matchup.
Hextia.
Curious, the Lightsworn Dominion, and Goki, the Great Ogre. And that is it for the extra deck. And for the side deck, we run 3 copies of Ghost Reaper, as I mentioned before. It's very useful just to stock extra decks, especially as this hasn't got a real beat stick in the deck.
She's definitely my favourite looking artwork out of all the negation cards, basically. Like, especially all the zombies.
I definitely prefer the Ghost Spell artwork wise.
Yeah, Ghost Spell looks pretty cool. And she's secret rare.
Exactly.
Which helps.
I run 1 copy of Dark Hole in the side deck, just for board wipes if you can't get over something.
Because why not?
Exactly. Love the fact that this card, Monster Reborn, is now back.
2002 format.
Still can't get over that.
Yeah, very cool format.
And we run 2 copies of Pot of Desire, Pro Card.
Yeah.
3 copies of Heavy Storm Duster, just for a little bit of back row removal.
And again, Trickstars don't really go into battle phase, so it's really good that Heavy Storm Duster, you know, you can destroy up to 2 spells and traps on a field, just like Twin Twisters. You're not discarding a card either. You're just not conducting your battle phase.
Exactly.
Not a big problem.
Trickstar, you don't need.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
3 copies of Dimensional Barrier.
Gotta have that D in your life.
Hell yes. And then finally for the side deck, we have 2 copies of Anti-Spell Fragrance.
Very, very cool. So guys, if you have enjoyed this video, please go and give TRK some support on his channel. Please leave a like, hit the subscribe button like I said, and please turn on your notifications so you know you're getting notifications of my uploads basically. I'll see you guys in the next one. YugiPenguin signing out.
And this is TRK saying thank you as well, and for letting me upload onto his channel. Thank you, YugiPenguin.
Thank you. See you soon. Bye.